So you chanted some beautiful prayers, Namsa Devi, and I just want to add one beautiful prayer that I love. This is a prayer from Prahlad Maharaj from the fifth canto, and I love this prayer because it's a prayer for everyone in the universe. So I'm just going to say it in English. May the entire universe be blessed with peace and good hope. May everyone driven by envy and enmity become pacified and reconciled. May all living beings develop abiding concern for the welfare of others. May our own hearts and minds be filled with purity and serenity. And may all these blessings flow naturally from this supreme benediction. May our attention become spontaneously absorbed in the rapture of love unto the transcendent Lord. Thank you all so much again, once again, for being here. So I have to say, when I think of Kartik and entering the mood of Kartik, which is, I think, what I really want to talk about today, the first thing I was thinking about is the kind of tricky warning from Rupa Goswami. Do you ever notice that sometimes when you're raising children, I know when I was raising Gauravani, sometimes I would have to say the opposite of what I wanted him to do because he was such a very rebellious and difficult child. So in this particular offering from Rupa Goswami, he says something very tricky and unusual. He says, he's basically saying, don't go to Vrindavan and don't go to see that beautiful Govindaji who is standing in a threefold bending form under the Vamsivat tree in Vrindavan. Don't go there because if you go there, there's a danger that you might like to just give up everything to do with your material life. So he's warning us, don't go, don't go. So I was thinking, yeah, there's a chance I might just like away my partner, throw away my house, throw away everything, and just run to Govindaji and dance with him under the Vamsivat tree. So, a lot of times on these sanghas, we talk a lot about being balanced people. We want to be balanced. We want to do Krishna consciousness, but we want to do it in a balanced way. So, talk about tricky instructions. Lord Chaitanya also gave a very tricky instruction. It's amazing. These are such simple, straightforward, saintly people, but sometimes they give tricky instructions. So, at a time when Rupa and Sanatana Goswami were highly placed government ministers, they weren't Goswamis yet. They were like the minister of finance and the minister of state. And they were, serving the Nawab Hussein Shah. And they wanted to just run away from everything and join Lord Chaitanya, but the time was not right yet. As we might find in our lives, the time is not quite right for me to run away to Vrindavan and leave everything behind. So Lord Chaitanya, I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but Lord Chaitanya sent them a very cryptic letter. And he gave them an example that I think is really interesting for ladies to hear. He said, you too, the time is not right yet. So what you should do, you should be like a woman who has a secret lover and she can't let her husband know. So she has to be cooking so wonderfully, cleaning the house so wonderfully, doing everything her husband likes so wonderfully, taking care of the kids, doing everything in a way that's way beyond what she usually would do or what an ordinary housewife would do. Why? Because she's protecting this guarded secret that she has this secret lover that her husband can't know anything about. So, this is an amazing metaphor for us, actually, for entering the mood of bhakti, for entering the mood of Kartik in a way that's, I would say, ardent and inspired, intentional and very intense, but also in a balanced way. So consider that as you begin to enter this mood of Kartik. So, yeah, the sacred mood of Kartik is actually the name Kartik. It's the name Radharani because her mother is Kirtika, and Kartika is the one who's born from Kirtika. So this month is all under her auspices. And so in this month, we pray for her blessings, which she's very freely giving in this holy month. So, what can I do to please her during this month of Kartik? Um, Once Srila Prabhupada said that if you have a prayer, you should put it in. You know how some deities of Radharani, where's my right hand? Some deities of Radharani are standing with their hand, like trying to, yeah, with their hand like that, their blessing hand. And so Prabhupada said if you have a prayer, you should, rather than praying to Krishna directly, you should place your prayer in the hand of Srimati Radharani because she is the compassionate side of Krishna and she will ask Krishna, even if you are a rascal number one, Prabhupada said, she will tell Krishna, she is better than me. Jai Ma is better than me. Shamala Priya, Karana Shakti, Mary, she is better than me. So please answer her prayer. So this month is dedicated to her. She's very merciful in hearing our prayers, particularly during this month. And so this is kind of the way to enter this month of Kartik to try to follow, to try to imbibe this mood of Sri Radha. She's always in this mood of I'm I'm not so important, but this one is better than me. This gopi is better than me. This Vaishnavi, this Vaishnava, they're better than me. Welcome, Eileen. Eileen is better than me, so please answer her prayer, you know? So it's such a beautiful mood. Mother Yasoda, all the residents of Raj in their hearts, they have such a beautiful, generous mood during, always, but during, especially during the sacred time of year. And in particular, I would say that the residents of Vrindavan have a mood of simplicity, joy, sincerity, without any personal selfish motivation. They're not in any way trying to push themselves forward. They're always trying to bring Krishna's attention to someone else. What a beautiful, sweet mood if we could imbibe that, during this month, but always really. So, another point that I think is important is that in every chapter of Krishna book, when we read Krishna book, the residents of Vrindavan are so amazed. They're always amazed. They have this sense of wonder. Practically every chapter mentions this, that they're amazed. They forget the rituals. They forget, everything they're supposed to do, and they're just struck by amazement by wonderful Krishna. Their darling boy, Krishna, Kanaya Lal, so many sweet names. So he may be God, he may be some kind of a demigod, but you know what? They don't even really care that he's God or not God. He's just their little darling Kanaya Lal, and they're so charmed by darling Krishna. Mother Yashoda was once speaking to her little Krishna, and she said, "Child, when you take care of the cows far away in the forests or the of Vrindavan or the caves of Govardhan Hill, you might see some wild, dangerous wild animals. And then what you should do is if you see any scary, dangerous animals, because, she's talking to her little boy, right? You should meditate on the ancient supreme person, Lord Narayan, and he will protect you. And when Lord Krishna heard these words, it was only with great difficulty that he was able to prevent a smile from appearing on his sweet little bimba fruit lips. And may that smile protect all the worlds. This is a prayer from someone named Sri Abhinanda. May that smile protect all the worlds. That smile that Krishna is trying to hide when Mother Yashoda is telling him if he sees any scary animals to meditate on Lord Narayan. So I think I should also try to enter this mood of Kartik, trying to go deeper in this mood of being amazed, to go deeper in this sense of wonder, and to come closer to this mood of being charmed by this wonderful, playful, mischievous Krishna, right? It's amazing we have such a form of God to worship in this bhakti tradition, right? He's wonderful, he's playful, he's mischievous, he's cute and charming. How beautiful, right? So here's a prayer from another devotee. He says, I offer my respectful obeisances to wonderful, playful, mischievous Krishna, who, if he desires, can make an ocean into dry land. He can make dry land into an ocean. He can turn a blade of grass into a thunderbolt. He can turn a thunderbolt into an insignificant blade of grass. He can make fire cool, and he can turn snow into a blazing fire. Wow, that's amazing, right? Amazing Krishna. So let's try to be amazed and full of a sense of wonder during this month of Kartik. Okay, so here is a meditation on Krishna. Would you like to close your eyes for this meditation? Try to close your eyes. I worship Lord Govinda, whose complexion is the color of a blooming blue lotus flower, whose face is just like the moon, who is fond of wearing a peacock feather crown, who bears the mark of Srivatsa, which is a little curl of hair on his chest, who wears a great Kastuba gem, who is dressed in yellow garments, whose handsome form is worshipped with offerings of the lotus flowers that are the gopis' glances, who is accompanied by a host of surabhi cows, and who is fond of sweetly playing the flute, and whose transcendental body is decorated with glittering ornaments. Thank you for closing your eyes during that meditation on the beautiful form of Lord Krishna. So, what am I going to do during this month of Kartik? If I find myself being charmed by so many things that are of this world that are not Krishna, what am I going to do? Can I try to immerse myself just a little bit more in whatever attracts my mind to this sense of amazement, sense of wonder that is wonderful Krishna? Can I try a little bit more this month to avoid distractions in my chanting? Because when you think about it, what really is the use? Sometimes, a lot of times, devotees say, well, I'm going to chant extra rounds during Kartik. But I want to ask myself and maybe ask all of you, what will be the use of chanting extra rounds of japa during this month of Kartik if I'm chanting with my mind distracted by my phone sitting next to me, or social media pulling my mind away, or so many things of this world stealing my mind and heart, right? What would be the use? So, what if I could make a more sincere attempt, or maybe a strict endeavor to chant with more genuine focus during this month of Kartik? And can I begin my japa each day by removing the obvious distractions? Some distractions are just obvious, right? Some come unexpectedly. Maybe the baby starts crying or something. Babies, by the way, are not distractions. Babies are sacred gifts. So you can always engage them in with soft, quiet toys like what's that stuff called uh, that they like? Glue. What do they call it? That gooey stuff. Goo? I think they call it goo. Or Play-Doh or coloring. So yeah,
Slime.
thank you very much. Slime. Yeah, slime. They love it. So, babies can be engaged in with so many soft toys that aren't noisy like a set of trap drums or trap set or something like that. So yeah, can I begin my job of removing the obvious distractions and then pulling my mind back to prayer, to the holy name, each time it wanders? So of course we all know this is obvious, but we all know it begins the night before, doesn't it? Think about it, if I eat my biggest meal of the day late at night, or if I stay up late watching different varieties of prajalpa, like TV or social media, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, then how can I wake up early and dedicate my mind and my heart to sincere calling out to Krishna? So it's nice, Prabhupada always suggested to devotees to read Krishna book at night, even if you have so many responsibilities for family, work, whatever, you can still close the end of the day with a little reading from some wonderful sense of wonder, amazing pastimes of Krishna, even if it's just for a few minutes, or a verse from Bhagavad Gita, but something to center your mind and heart so that it's not kind of rewinding or regurgitating all the prajalpa that we have in this world. I know myself, I like to listen to different talks by devotees on YouTube that are posted on YouTube. There's so many wonderful ones. But I have to actually say a little prayer to myself before I look for that podcast because it's so easy to get distracted by so much other craziness. What's the royal family doing these days? What's the latest with Donald Trump or this or this or this? So personally, I say a little prayer when I open my phone to look for some nice devotee podcast on YouTube that I won't get distracted by all the craziness that's everywhere, right? So here's a little prayer that I love to Radha and Krishna in their holy names. This is from Rupa Goswami. And hearing his prayer, I mean, the great Rupa Goswami, basically the whole science of bhakti was given in seed form by Lord Chaitanya and expanded and extrapolated by, in particular, Rupa Goswami and the other Goswamis of Vrindavan. But listen to his humility as he calls out to the holy name. I'm so struck by his mood and his sense of wonder. So he says, although I am the lowest, he's praying to the holy name, although I am the lowest and you are the highest, although I am a fool and you are the greatest philosopher, although I am wicked and you are most saintly, and although I commit offenses when I think of you, still, O King and Queen, the shadow of whose holy name delivers one from a host of sins, please be kind to this person who sometimes chants your holy name. What do you think of that prayer? Isn't it so humble and amazingly sweet? Like he's probably, no doubt, chanting the holy name continuously in his sleep, in his mind, incessantly. But he's so humble. He's saying, for this fool, this wicked person who once in a while chants your holy name. So I think this is a beautiful mood. Sometimes devotees get into a mood of entitlement or posturing that I'm so learned, I know so many verses, or I'm such a senior devotee. I came to Krishna consciousness one day before you, so therefore I have every right to boss you around. No, no, no. That kind of mood doesn't attract Krishna. Um, Actually, I'll share something kind of funny that Prabhupada used to sometimes say. If you listen to Prabhupada's room conversations or walks, sometimes you hear him say this really funny thing. It's sort of a Bengali saying, I guess, but so it's about Hanuman. But it goes like this: big, big monkey, big, big belly, Ceylon jumping melancholy. I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but so Ceylon is the old name for Sri Lanka. And so this is kind of this saying is kind of poking fun at someone who maybe they think they're as great as Hanuman, maybe they have a big belly like Hanuman, but if they try jumping over the ocean to Sri Lanka like Hanuman did, they will be frustrated or they will be melancholy. So big, big monkey, big, big belly, Ceylon jumping, melancholy. It's really a quirky little saying, and it doesn't have anything to do with Vrindavan in particular, but I think it's good to point out because sometimes you hear Prabhupada say this when someone's acting, one of his disciples is getting a little bit puffed up, or as we say, too big for their britches, whatever. And you hear Prabhupada go, big monkey, big belly. You know, sometimes he says the whole thing. So I have to guard myself in this month of Kartik in particular, but always really, to be simple, to be um, to be sincere and to be simple. Um, I call it the satisfaction of sacred smallness. Some devotees call it the bigness of littleness. So, the bigness of littleness or the satisfaction of sacred smallness. I should never try to become a big devotee because Krishna is more pleased with the little ones. Or Jesus Christ also said, we have to become like a child to enter the kingdom of heaven, right? So yeah, so yeah, that was something from Rupa Goswami. And here's a nice sweet meditation on chanting from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And in this one, he's praying to his tongue. And he says, "Oh, my tongue, you are overwhelmed with the desire for material enjoyment, but please hear my instructions. Always remain deeply absorbed in drinking the nectarian loving mellows of the divine and beautiful names of Radha and Krishna." He says, "The name of Srimati Radharani is ever beautiful and is divine ambrosia. Radhika's name is also very sweet and enchanting and is the abode of complete fulfillment and satisfaction. With great care, you should eagerly mix and blend this ambrosial name of Radhika in the wonderful sweet condensed milk of the name of Krishna." What an image! Isn't that beautiful? Just mixing up this ambrosia of the name of Radha and Krishna like a sweet condensed milk. And then you add to that mixture, and this is the part that's essential, right? You add to that mixture the sweet fragrance of love and affection, which is both cool and delightful. With great joy and ecstasy, drink this nectar both day and night. No longer will there remain on the tongue a thirst for mundane enjoyment, for these wonderful transcendental mellows will fulfill all of your desires. Then he says, at the lotus feet of Raghunath Das Goswami, Bhaktivinoda begs for delight and rapture, ecstatic rapture in the hearing and chanting of the divine names of Radha and Krishna. So it's essential to add to that ambrosia this mood of love and devotion. You know, when Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita to offer me a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, he says with devotion, because minus that loving devotion, he doesn't even accept a leaf or a flower or a fruit or your occupation or your whatever you're doing in your life. He doesn't accept it. He only accepts, he's extracting the mood of devotion from whatever we're offering to him. So, you know, you may be a renowned therapist, you may be an important businesswoman, you may be so many things in this world, but without offering your work or your flowers, your leaf, your heart to Krishna, then he's not only accepting that sweet devotion. So yeah, so my point is that during this month of Kartik, can we do something to come closer to this mood of amazement, this mood of a sense of wonder at wonderful Krishna. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then pick up Krishna book and read a chapter of Krishna book, and you'll see how in practically every chapter, even when Krishna, after Krishna leaves Vrindavan starts doing wonderful, amazing things in other places outside of Vrindavan, still um, he's always wonderful Krishna, but he's most wonderful when he's in Vrindavan. And in that dust of Vrindavan, we have the most sacred, loving, most relishable form of Krishna. So either by chanting his holy name with some kind of affectionate attention, which is, Prabhupada's Guru Srila Bhakti Siddhanta says the greatest relaxation or hobby to have is chanting the holy names. So, what do you think of that? It's an amazing thing to think. I might have like so many hobbies, but I could have this sacred hobby of chanting the holy name with a sense of wonder, calling out in love and devotion, or associating with devotees in that sweet spirit. Like if you think of everything you do in Kartik being magnified by 1,000 or 1,000,000, what if I could just lovingly, anonymously even do some sweet thing for some devotee friend, some lady, some Vaishnavi in your life. You could give them prasadam or give them a flower, or you could go sweep their steps, or, you could do 100 things even anonymously, and it would be magnified by 1,000 or 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,000 during Kartik. Yeah, so associating with devotees in a sweet spirit. Like another thing is that we all thrive by appreciation. And sometimes I think this is a big mistake we have in our Krishna consciousness movement. Devotees think, well, if I say something nice to someone, that would be flattery, that would be false, and then they could get puffed up. So I don't want to be their enemy by being a flatterer, but actually every one of us thrives by appreciation. So, if someone in your temple has been cooking the Rajbhog offering for 23 years, and nobody ever said, thank you so much for cooking every Wednesday, or, thank you so much for dressing the deities so beautifully on Thursdays, or thank you so much for the loving, sweet way you play and joke and teach your children, or some appreciation. Even big shots in the ISKCON movement. And I'm saying there's no such thing as big shots because Krishna doesn't look for big devotees. He doesn't see big, he only sees little. But even people like that also need appreciation. Even if you have a temple president, you could say, thank you so much for taking responsibility for all these devotees for so many days. Or even in your own family, children thrive by association. I noticed that you cleaned your room very sweetly, very nicely. Thank you so much. Or, you could say to your partner, I really appreciate it when you change the filters on the heat and the air conditioning, or when you take out the trash. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And then people feel so validated, and you get 100 million times the credit during Kartik. And what happens is it creates a domino effect that person will also notice something, that maybe some nice thing that you've done in your life, or in the past week. So then what else? Offering, of course, a little deepa or a light to the deities, or a picture of Krishna with devotion during Kartik. Traveling to Vrindavan if you can, or lighting my house up like Sri Vrindavan Dham, by worship, by meditation on the sweet, mischievous, playful Krishna. Or during this month of Kartik, can we, in some way or other, try to cry out a little bit more sincerely, as Bhaktitirtha Swami used to always say, as beggars. He wrote that whole beggar series, which is amazing. So could we try to cry out a little bit more sincerely as beggars, in amazement, with a sense of wonder and in gratitude to Lord Sri Krishna and Sri Radha for their beautiful sacred gifts during this beautiful month of Kartik. So these are a few thoughts, and thank you all very much for being here. And I'm wondering if you have any reflections or any questions or any comments or, yeah, how did this land in your heart? Do you feel like it's a possibility to open your heart to a sense of amazement and a sense of wonder, especially during Kartik, at wonderful, mischievous, playful, charming, tricky Krishna? What do you think? That was
Thank you
beautiful.
so much, Rukmini Devi. Thank you so, so much. There's so many beautiful Kartik points of inspiration that you shared with us today. And I was reflecting on this point you made about the sacred happy. I love that. Sacred happy, the holy names. And I was
Hobby,
just
hobby, having a hobby? A hobby? Is that what you mean?
okay.
A
Yes,
hobby.
yes, yes. A
Yeah,
hobby.
make it your hobby. Yeah, make it your hobby.
The-
Or make a hobby of collecting beautiful verses that inspire your heart or whatever. Have a hobby like that, you know? You could do
yes, I was thinking,
you could do crossword puzzles, but this kind of hobby might bring you closer to Krishna, actually, you know?
yeah, it's very, I was having this experience yesterday. I was in Maryland and I went and took the Didi's Radha Gopinath back to Madhavan on vacation. And so we were caring for those Didi's and then we took them back. And of course, Kartik month, there's so much focus on like chanting, right? Chanting, that's something that we well take very seriously. Everyone that's aspiring to be a devotee, Kartik month, make sure we chant. And so I had taken my Govardhan Sheila to stay with them while we're gone because we're leaving very soon. Anyway, on as we're leaving that house to come back to Gitanagara, I fell on the step from the steps. I fell on the pavement. What was interesting that I noticed that when I fell, I was so shocked because I wasn't expecting, I thought I was really looking at the steps. And I was trying to figure out, my first thoughts were figuring out how I was going to get up off the floor. But what amazed me is a statement Bhakti Mars makes. He says, mercy sometimes comes from the back, from the side, from the front. And I was thinking, dear Lord, we just came here. We brought the deities. We just finished all doing all these service. And I could not remember your name. I did not remember your name during that period. All I was thinking, how do I get up off this floor, this ground, because nobody else was there. No one was there and I was just laid out on this ground. So I really appreciate the inspirations that you're giving because your whole presentation is about developing humility. And certainly this humility only comes from how, we're focused on our chanting. And so I just was like thinking, yeah, Rajalula, you're not so humble because you couldn't even think to chant. You're just thinking of how to, get your body back somewhere where you could sit. So
Fun.
thanks for the kind reminder.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate what you said because, what you're saying reminds me that we kind of think that mercy or blessings are going to come from a certain direction, but we don't realize that they might come from a completely different direction than we're thinking. And you remind me of a story I heard from Satchidanand Swami that he was in Australia and he had never seen whales before. Shamala Priya and I were just out whale watching in Colombia. But he had never seen whales before. And so he went out on this with some devotees on this whale watching boat because one devotee's father was some kind of like a captain on a whale watching boat type of a situation. And so they went out to the dock and they got on
Mhm.
the boat. And this captain was saying, you're definitely going to see whales today. They are out there. You're going to see them. For sure, you're going to see whales. And so they went out in this boat and they're looking, 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 and looking, and they don't see any whales the whole time. And they come back to the dock, and this captain says, did you see them? They were there. Did you see them? And they said, no, we didn't see any whales. And he said, the whales were right behind your boat, and they were looking in front of the boat. They were not looking in the back of the boat. They were only looking in the front. So isn't that so much the way we are? I mean, I can speak for myself. Sometimes I think mercy and grace is going to come from this direction. Sometimes it comes from a different direction, like falling on my face, and giving having that lesson. Did I call out your name? Will I call out your name at the moment of death? So yeah, that's a sweet story. What else do you guys have to share? Do you have any? What did this bring up for you? I was talking about evoking or imbibing this sense of wonder, sense of amazement at wonderful Krishna. What do you think? Is it possible that we could step out of our doldrums of bored, jaded, mundane life to step into this Vrindavan mood of a sense of wonder, a sense of amazement? What do you guys think?
Hare, Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Namsa
I,
has her hand up. Namsa?
oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, I think
Yeah,
Shamala Pri can go.
Oh,
I'll
yeah, yeah.
say
Nama,
something.
go ahead. Yes, yes,
sorry.
please.
I'm not seeing the all of the prompts. Um, I just wanted to share like those little special moments are what are so special to me. For example, oh my goodness, so many things have happened this week, but one in particular, I go to Pilates a few times a week in the morning, and I'm in the Pilates class, and the instructor has us doing a stirring movement, like with these ropes, right? And I said, wow, we're churning butter, like Mother Yashoda. We're churning butter. And then I shared with the group, like, this is a month where, like, this is pastime of churning this butter. And I was just like, wow, what is the chance? I've never done that exercise in Pilates before. And I've been doing it for 2 years. So sweet.
Wow. And I bet somebody else caught the mood of wonder by your mentioning the butter churning of Krishna and Yasoda. Beautiful. So sweet. Opportunity to share sweetness and wonder. Wonderful. What else did this bring up for any of you? Any other thoughts?
Namsa?
Yeah, I never had.
Namsa.
Yeah, we've also got another hand up, but I'll just go ahead and say there's always there's this joke that you know when you're chanting, taxi drivers have anxiety here in South Africa because they have a target to reach that they need to give the taxi owner, and then they have the money that they keep for themselves. So whenever I'm doing like my japa, I always feel like I need to reach it. Like I feel like a taxi driver. I've got that anxiety, like I need to reach the target. And so I don't have the sense of wonder and the sense of relaxation that you spoke about that Srila Prabhupada's guru had. And so I was just thinking about, I'm like, wow, like what if I just slowed down and I just stopped behaving like a taxi driver and I just was like, this is relaxing. This is not supposed to be anxiety inducing because I don't know, the day just like sometimes I just get a lost of time just disappears and I'm just like, I got 4 more to go. And then everything is just like anxiety induced. And so I was just like thinking about that, like, what if it doesn't have to be like that? And that's the wonder that came from it. Like, maybe I could just think about it differently and stop being a taxi driver a little when I think about Japa. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And yeah, I think we make a big mistake when we encourage devotees prematurely to reach a certain number because it's not about moving beads and it's not a bead game. It's about engaging the heart and crying to Krishna, being a beggar and crying to Krishna, please bless me, please give me your mercy, give me your love.
Mhm.
And yeah, there's even something I know I'm looking at the smile of Jay Ma, and there's something I quoted when I spoke to a group in Puerto Rico a few weeks ago. This is an amazing thing that I heard. Listen to this. This is a quote from a great great grandfather spiritual master who was a great Babaji, Jagannath Das Babaji. So if you look at the ISKCON disciplic succession that's on the altar in all their temples, you have Prabhupada, and then his guru Srila Bhakti Siddhanta. Then you have his guru, Gorkashore Das Babaji Maharaj. Then you have Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Then you have Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, who is a great chanter of the holy names. And I heard this amazing story about him. Listen to this. He said, rather than chanting many, many rounds without attention, he said it would be better if you just go out into the earth and plant some vegetables, plant some fruits, and offer them to Krishna or give them to some devotees to offer to Krishna. That's better than chanting many, many, many rounds without attention. And I thought that was the most stunning thing. So I think we do make a big mistake because it's not about achieving. It's a descending process. Like Shakespeare said, the quality of mercy is not strained. It falleth as the gentle rain from heaven. Um, yeah, so this is not an achieving process. All the other types of yoga are about achieving, being able to bend yourself into a pretzel or, learn so many Sanskrit pronunciations or achieving mystic powers. All of that is all achieving. But the path of bhakti is not like that, it's the opposite. So we have to get that achiever's mind out of our brains and come to the smallness, the bigness of littleness, or the satisfaction of sacred smallness, and just try to seek Krishna's mercy in a very humble way. And chant his holy name with joy in whatever number I can really apply myself, not artificially, right?
Definitely. We had a hand up from Shri at some point, and from Gail as well as Lila Kishori.
They're all welcome to speak first. I would love to hear what they have to say.
Okay. Thank you for the answer, Rukmini. Thank you for sharing. Maybe we can go to Gail, Lila Kishori, and then we'll come back to Shri.
Hi, Paul, dear.
Gail?
Oh, hi, Krishna, everybody. I think we were asked to give our take on the wonderment of Krishna, right? I think.
Yeah.
And so what occurred to me is that, normally I'm not so impressed by Krishna being able to, you know, keep so many planets in balance, or making the sun rise and all of these, amazing acts of nature. Because I always figure, well, of course he can do that. He's God, But um, what what I experience the wonderment of Krishna when it comes to incidents of like amazing synchronicity. When you have those amazing coincidences with other people, where um, for that to have happened, there has to be. I mean, it can only be Krishna's hand, because it's just too wild. The precision of the timings of the events, is it's unreasonable to call it coincidence. There has to be an intelligence behind such amazing, astounding, quote unquote, coincidences. And so that's one way in which I experience Krishna's wonderment. And another way, which always floors me as well, is the the specificity with which he responds to my heart. You know, he will respond in a way such that it is only by his being in my heart that I could have the experiences that I do that are so directly responsive to the the feelings or the desires or the thoughts that are going on within me that have not been uttered to anyone else, yet I'm experiencing his response, is very precise and laser pointed, response my to my feelings, especially when the more intense they are, you know the more responsive I find him to be. And just that radical personalism, on the part of Krishna, I find to be amazing.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And what about the really little desires or little teeny, teeny little prayer or desire that you had, like maybe even so many years ago that you didn't even really think of it much? Like, I've had that happen several times where I just thought of this little thing. I didn't tell anybody. It wasn't even that important.
Yeah,
It wasn't even
yeah.
a big thing. And then maybe even years later, Krishna hands it to you and think, oh my God, he was hearing. So what to speak of those very sincere prayers that are, when I pray for something that seems so unattainable, like, could I get one drop of taste for the holy name? Would that ever be possible for you to bestow on me, my dear Lord Krishna? But he is hearing those prayers. And he's traveling with us, as you say, dear Gail, He's the super friend. He's the super soul.
Hmm.
But
Oh
when
my
we
God.
ignore him life after life, as we go into bodies of insects or pigs or who knows what, and he is still traveling with us, and we keep ignoring him. But he's hearing those desires. So, we can tell him,
Oh yeah.
I don't want those other desires. What I really want is you. What I really want is your love and, to love and to serve. That's what I really, really, really want.
Oh, frozen. Oh.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for always being so introspective and thoughtful. Radical personalism, radical amazement, radical noticing, radical.
Yeah, yeah. He could make the planets stay up in the air or not. I don't care, but just give me that personalism. That's what that's what I value from Krishna.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I see Leela Kishori has a hand up there.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for this wonderful talk with us about Kartik month. And for me, what I was thinking, especially when I'm lighting my lamp and I'm reciting, I like to also enjoy just being in the presence of Krishna and Srimati Radharani. And I think that sometimes for me, it seems kind of controversial because what I hear a lot is like it's all about Krishna's enjoyment. But then I was thinking, like you said, when you cook for your family, you get enjoyment because they're enjoying the person, like, you do. Like there's a joy
Yeah,
in serving. And
yeah,
so I just love that that's like just a special private time. We are in the seventh canto right now in our Srimad Bhagavatam class from Gita Nagari. And so Hiranyakashipu, and I was thinking, he also teaches you kind of what to do, what not to do, and what to do. And that he's always thinking about, I want more. And when I get this, like when I'm ruling the entire universe, then it's going to be, instead of just like being where you are and
mm,
just reveling in what you have and sharing that. And I think that that's a big piece of it. And then also for me, doing things in the presence that make me feel like I'm joyful and therefore Krishna's enjoying the joy. So I like to also sing Sri Nama Kirtan. I think it's just the happiest song about Krishna just walking by the Yamuna and like teasing the gopis and like just, being the joy of all the people in Vrindavan. And so I love to sing that for him every
yeah.
night because it's just such a happy, like, you can see him just,
I
bringing
think
all this joy.
you've really got the mood, do something that you love for him. And that may be very different from what someone else loves. And we don't all have to be robots and automatons and, judging each other that you have to do it exactly the way I do it. And Krishna is called, he has a name, Akila Rasamrita Murti. He's the personification of all sweet moods of rasa, loving rasa. He's called a rasika. He's an
Mm.
enjoyer of sweet tastes. And devotees are meant to be rasikas also. And I think that's a nice point that you're making. Like the third verse of Srimad Bhagavatam says that Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for those who are bhuvi bhavakaha, those who are tasters of rasa. So do what moves your heart, you know? Sing that song at night because that inspires your heart. And if someone else says to you, no, 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 you should be doing this, let them do that and you do what inspires your heart. It's a sacred individuality that we're seeking. And do what inspires your heart to love Krishna more. That's so beautiful. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. Really appreciate it. I see
Well, Rukmini, just before you go to the next person, I don't usually do this on our sanghas. However, do what's in my heart. And Krishna is directing me to introduce you to Leela Kishore. She's the sister of Devamrita Swami.
Oh,
So
no
I
kidding.
wanted you to know she's been a part of our sangha for quite some time, and she doesn't like when she gets very shy, don't want to be introduced like that. But I thought that if she meets you again at another time, that you would personally know her.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Brajalila is expert at those sweet embarrassments. She does it to me all the time. But wonderful to know. I'm so happy that his family accepted Krishna consciousness. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much. And you're in Gitanagari or near Gitanagari or in New York?
No, I'm about 3.5 hours from Gitanagari. I'm in South Jersey, but I go there, and that's where I got first initiation, and that's where all my Bhakti Tirtha Swami aunties and and uncles are. And so
I'm
yeah,
so
it's my home.
I'm so happy. Yeah, I think a lot of us, like speaking for myself, I really kind of burnt out my family when I became a devotee by being so fanatical. So I'm glad to hear that he didn't do that. And his sweet sister is a loving devotee. Good to know. Nice to meet you. Wonderful. Thank you
No.
so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
So,
had a hand up from Jaima and from Shri. So maybe we can have Shri go first and then Jaima.
Okay, I'll just make this quick. Because I haven't been to very many of these. My friend Satyavati invited me, so I just wanted to thank all of you. I want to thank you, Rukmini. Your words are so healing and loving and full of devotional nectar. And what I will take away from this is thinking about the ambrosial nectar of Radha's name mixed with the condensed milk of Krishna's sweet name. And it's just such a lovely
mixed
way
with
of
our love and devotion. That's the
mixed
secret
with
ingredient we have to add, mixed with our love and devotion, right?
those of us who are trying to grow our love and devotion. But it's a perfect anecdote, like when I'm chanting and some thoughts are going through my mind, I just immediately will try to cut that off by using words that you used, by saying we're not of these transitory temporary material world situations. We are not of this. We are of the spiritual energy. And so, yeah, I take away a lot, hold a lot in my heart from this beautiful gathering. And just real quick, talking about ambrosial nectar. One time in Mayapur in 2005, I got really sick. And we had doctors coming to the house. Had a cough.
Morning.
Pardon? Oh, I thought somebody said something. I was just very sick, and it went on for 2 months. Doctors would come to the house. Nobody could help me, and I'm just laying there, can't chant, can't go to Mangal Arti, can't do anything in Mayapur during Kartik. So I just one day I got so like fed up with it, I hobbled over to our altar that we had in our little room in Mayapur. And I went to the picture of Panchatattva and I just begged them, like, oh, dear Panchatattva, can you please be my doctor so I can go see you at the temple and I can chant? And like I just hobbled back to bed. And then like a half hour later, my daughter and her friend walk in the door and they just see me coughing my head off. Like I just can't even talk. I'm just racked with this cough for 2 months. My lungs were so painful and it wasn't going away. And so they just said, Mama, I'm going to go. My daughter said, I'm going to go make you some tea. So she goes with her friend to the house and they come back with this tea. And I drink it. My husband is like a beekeeper. So I'm used to all different kinds of honey. So I drink the tea and my hair like starts standing up. I was like covered in goosebumps. And I just said, what is this tea? It was so nectarian, you guys. Like, I can't even describe the nectar of that tea. And so her friend that was with me, her friend that was with her said, Mama Shri, this tea is from the Abhishek, the Maha Abhishek, the first one they did in 2004 of the Panchatattva deities in
Wow.
Mayapur. And that
Wow.
tea had glided down the bodies of all of the beautiful golden Panchatattva deities in Mayapur. And I did not cough again
Wow.
after drinking that tea. No more coughing. And
Wow.
like one little cough at midnight, like, one little cough. But that tea from Panchatattva was so so nectarian and so powerful that and Panchatattva was my doctor.
Wow.
They
How
gave
beautiful.
medicine and this all happened in Mayapur, which is so I just wanted to say that as we go through our devotional service, and by no means has that been like the tragic trajectory of my life in devotional service. We're in the material world, so we get the good with the bad, but so what I really take from this is that the gift of the devotee association, the gift of our devotee friends is the greatest gift that Krishna gives us. I was just reading this in Bhagavatam because the devotees, they give Krishna's holy name. And so that those two things, the holy name of Krishna and the gift of devotee association, that is what will keep us strong through the good and the bad of this material world. And really the bad as a devotee is really the good, because once, like Lord Chaitanya said, if a person one time utters the holy name of Krishna, I put that person on my altar and worship them. So the holy name is so powerful, and who gives the holy name is the devotees. So
Thank you.
this is a
So,
wonderful gathering, and I thank you all.
so beautiful. So look at the power of prayer in a helpless mood, taking shelter of Krishna in a mood of helpless prayer and the magic that happens. So that's a beautiful story of wonder and amazement that we should remember, that when I'm in a helpless mood and I cry to Krishna, then that's when he hears my prayer. Not when I'm complacent and I think I know everything and I've got it all together. So thank you. He's the real doctor, right? The holy name is the real doctor. Thank you so much.
Krishna
Beautiful.
will do it for all of his devotees. Krishna will do it for everybody. We just have to keep our hearts open to receive.
Beautiful. I love your story. I see Antaryami has a hand up.
Hare Krishna, everyone, and thank you so much, Rukmini, for being here. I always remember the times that when we're having these Zoom, it's like, I'm not going to attend it. What? I don't need it, but Krishna pushes me in. So I'm glad he did today because, You brought up a very important point, and Shamala's story reminded me how we need to see things from different sides. They come to us. My point is, really briefly, is that within the last 10 months, I've had different issues with health. And I'm thinking, my first thought was, Krishna, are you kidding me? Why are you doing this? But in the process, I have had so many nice realizations. I've had so many appreciations for small things that we don't really give attention to. And I appreciate that the situation that I have was specifically designed for me. Not anything Krishna did, but something that I did. But I have grown so much, regardless of the issues that have gone on with the body. I've gotten better mentally, emotionally because of it. So that was a nice reminder.
Beautiful.
Appreciate the small things, and they will come from different directions that you don't even expect. Thank you so
Beautiful.
much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. You know, we want success and we want enjoyment, but don't we just learn so much more through those challenges and so-called failures? And we just grow so much more and learn so much more. Thank you all so much. This has been so beautiful. Really appreciate your sweet association.
Yeah. I think Jay Ma had her hand up. So yeah.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat, dear devotees. Thank you so much for your association during this celebration in Kartik time. Wow, what a blessing. And as well, Rukmini, for sharing the beautiful Leelas, pastimes of Prabhupada, and all the stories that you have shared, and to all you lovely ladies as well. It's very inspiring and encouraging. I can't deny that as an Ayurvedic herbalist and a farmer, I was wondering what tea you were gonna mention, and needless to say, it was that tea that helped you get better. I'm not surprised, and I'm so happy to hear that was the case. And I'm also so grateful to be able to do my service while I chant. So I get to farm while chanting. So it's like the funnest, most beautiful service I've ever done in my life, to be able to not only serve Krishna's creation, but also doing it while chanting. And it's so funny because when I do that, all the animals around the farm come along and just like hang around, and they just chill. And the truth is that I just started doing a service here in Puerto Rico this week specifically, that is going to the projects and sharing about medicinal plants. And I always involve the holy name in one way or another. And they're really, really inspired to hear about it because they've never heard of it before. So I'm just so grateful that this month has been a blessing in that sense, that I could serve souls that otherwise would not have access to Krishna. And I get to take them some prasadam because cashew season just started, and it's the most beautiful thing that, as I've been chanting the holy name during the cashew growing, I get to offer it to the altar and then to the other beings. So I'm just grateful for this moment, and just thank you all for making this sangha happen. It's very, very sweet. And I want to invite you all to Rata Yatra in Puerto Rico. It's December 27th. It's perfect time because it's just nice weather, and perhaps you can escape from the cold wherever you're coming from, possibly. Then Gauravani has been on stage at Rata Yatra in Puerto Rico, so it'll be a good time for our farm family reunion, if you may allow it to be, Rukmini Prabhu. So just wanted to invite you all, if possible. Thank you again for all your sweet stories. And I really love the alliteration that you shared, Rukmini ji. The smallness. Wait, if you don't mind saying it again, I really appreciate it. The SSS, the sweet smallness.
Satisfaction of sacred smallness.
Thank you. Beautiful. Jai. Haribol.
Thank you. And remember, prasadam was always Prabhupada's secret weapon, When Prabhupada came to New York, it was his secret weapon. So yeah, distributing prasadam is really heart-opening. Thank you for distributing prasadam cashews all over Puerto Rico. Haribol.
And thank you for sharing my favorite verse of the Gita. You went right to it, so I wasn't surprised that it was, if you offer me a leaf, a fruit, a flower, and just so grateful to be able to do so. So, Jai Prabhupada.
Well, thank you for being here.
I just want to check in with you, Jayma. What fruit is that behind you? Is it a lemon or orange or what is that tree?
Well, it's passion fruit, so
Ah, amazing. Passion fruit.
Your passion. Offer your passion to Krishna. Whatever you're passionate about, offer it to Krishna, right?
passion with compassion, indeed. I'm
Right?
grateful to be able to passion with compassion.
Passion with compassion. I love it. Haribo. Thank you so much. Haribo.
We have some of our friends who are here and are regulars, and I see today they're feeling a little shy. I'm not sure why, but Karuna Shakti, I don't know if you have something you would like to say. She's always here with us. We also got Kay, who's in the UK, if I'm not mistaken, I think London, and we've also got Prema Bhakti, who also is in the UK. They're usually with us, and Sati, they're on the call. I wonder if they have anything they want to add at this point.
While we wait for them to meditate on sharing, you can read through the chat, Namsa, real quick.
No problem.
Then maybe someone will share.
Okay. So in the chat, we have Carolina who had just left. She said, I need to leave this meeting. Thank you so much for the wonderful association, Haribo. Also the other Vaishnavi, Satya, who says, all glories, thank you for the Sangha. I had the time zone mixed up. Looking forward to the recording. Kay, who said Jai, and Kalindi, who says, Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavis. I have to go now, sorry. Thank you very much for your association and for your servant, Kalindi Gopi Devi Dasi.
Haribo.
Haribo. Yeah, maybe we can call on some of our friends. I don't know why you guys are feeling shy today.
Karuna Shakti,
Karuna, I see you've got your mic unmuted.
Yeah, Kartik is something that sends me into a panic every year because when it's like when it comes up on the calendar, I'm like, oh my God, it's been a whole year and I haven't made any progress in my Krishna consciousness. I'm still a rascal. I'm like, it's like my annual reminder that I'm not like progressing. I'm like, and then it's like there's like all of these begging Krishna, please help me. And yeah, and then like obviously after Kartik finishes, then I go back to being a rascal for another year. So it's just I don't know, and it's like kind of this cycle of panic, um, like with me and Kartik. But one thing that I was really resonating with when you were talking about praying to Radharani, because of course I am such a rascal. I know I can't get to Krishna. I have to go through Radharani. I sing this little prayer, the Radhika Stava, every day during Kartik. And it's a very short, sweet little prayer, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna, try and get in with Radharani and ask her to petition on my behalf because I'm completely unqualified and a total rascal. But yeah, so I'm definitely resonating with approaching Radharani.
Well, Prabhupada actually used that word rascal in reference to taking shelter of Radharani. He actually said, even if you're a rascal number one, offer your prayer to Radharani. So you're on the right track. And she loves the rascals. There's even a story about her picking up a jackal. So yeah, it was a lady jackal also, by the way. So even if you're not a human being rascal, even if you're a jackal rascal, Radharani will embrace you and offer you to Krishna. So be encouraged by her mercy. Nice to hear from you, Karuna Shakti. Always.
I love that mood of Radharani where you're sharing about her being like always pushing someone forward.
Yeah.
And she's so humble and so this mood of love that she has for Krishna always wants her to bring others closer to him, which
Yeah.
means that she doesn't need to push herself forward. She doesn't need any of those things that we have, at least I can speak for myself, like in material consciousness at times, I think like that. Oh, but what about me? But what about me? But does anybody see me? But you know, like this. And so this mood of Radharani is just so comforting. Thank you
Yes.
so much. Yeah.
Thank you all.
Everybody's better than me. Everybody's better than me.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Very beautiful, sweet mood for Kartik. The bigness of littleness, the satisfaction,
Mm,
sacred smallness.
yes, that's the theme. Kay has her hand up. Hey,
Hare
sweet Kay.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Dandavat pranams to everybody. It's been such a really beautiful sangha. Thank you so much, Rukmini ji. Um, I really loved when you asked us to meditate on Krishna when we closed our eyes, and the reflections on Krishna about his activities in Vrindavan, his blue color, his like a blue lotus and everything. I know we maybe have heard these pastimes, or we've heard these descriptions many times if we just by the amount of times you attend sanghas and Janmashtami and things are different sanghas, but it was really touching to take part in that meditation. And I think you've also introduced me to a bit of a hack as well, because when I think about Srimati Radharani, I kind of think that when I think about doing any service or something for Krishna, or for devotees or something, I just think like, I wonder what Srimati Radharani would think. Like, because for example, if I'm cooking something, I'll say, "Oh my gosh, please don't." I always think like, "Please don't laugh at my efforts," because I know you're the expert cook here. So I just think, so I kind of think when I think of Srimati Radharani, I just think of somebody who's so in a way beyond reach. Like, so I was thinking, I didn't think that I could ask her to petition to Krishna on my behalf. I didn't really think that I could do much of that, because her standards are so high. So it's actually quite interesting that today you kind of talked about that we can actually pray to Srimati Radharani directly. So I'm going to try to do that this month, especially because it's considered to be her month as well. So
Yeah.
these are some thoughts. Sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, her expertise is that she's always thinking of how to please Krishna. It's not
Mm.
like a mundane expertise that she learned in some culinary school, but she's always thinking of pleasing Krishna. There's even a sweet story about Radharani where she says that Krishna always does what she likes, but she doesn't know if she always likes what he does or he does what she likes. So she was pondering, which is it? So yeah, her expertise is that she's always thinking, how to please Krishna. Even when she's like putting makeup on, putting her kajal and her bangles and all that, she's just thinking, I'll look beautiful for Krishna. So it's a beautiful mood to try to imbibe during this month of Kartik, whatever little thing I'm doing. And if we can do that moment to moment, that's wonderful. And if we can't do it moment to moment, at least at night when we're falling asleep, we can say, I offer this day to you. All the things I did today, I did for your pleasure. Even better is to do it moment to moment. I'm sweeping the floor for your pleasure. I'm cooking for your pleasure. I'm chanting the holy name for your pleasure. Whatever I'm doing. It's so beautiful. Do it in that mood of remembrance and devotion. Thank you all so much.
Hey, do you have
Thank
a
you so much, Rukmini. Um, I'm so sorry. Can I just ask a follow-up question?
Yeah,
Thank
of
you so
course.
much. Thank, thank you. So in my mind, I'm thinking if I attempt to offer my data to Srimati Radharani and to Krishna, and I know that I haven't done the best I could do, so that's what's the barrier for me. I'm like, oh, Srimati Radharani's standards are so high, so I'm like, why? If I haven't done everything to the best of my potential, then I would feel bad to offer my efforts or to Shumati Radharani. So I think maybe there's a bit of a barrier there, and I feel like I need to come correct if I need to approach Shumati Radharani. So these are some thoughts, and I don't know if you can
Yeah,
share anything on that.
so let me try to address that because remember the prayer I read from Rupa Goswami? He was really praying in the mood of failure. Like, I'm
Mm.
I'm so wicked and you're so expert. You're the greatest philosopher and I'm a fool. I sometimes chant your holy name, but mostly I don't chant your holy. It's in such a mood of humility, but also I'm such a failure. So if at the end of the day or moment to moment you can say, Srimati Radharani and Krishna and my dear Guru Maharaj, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, I offer all my failures to you. I offer all my mistakes. I offer all the ways I fell short today. I offer my little feeble attempts at serving you today. Even though my mind wandered like 99% of the time, please accept this little, faulty endeavor to serve you because it's not about achieving. And I think that's a big mistake we make in Krishna consciousness. It's part of I think it's just part of our Western Western, well, I mean, there are people on this call from everywhere, Western, Eastern, Southern, Northern, everywhere. Achieving mentality is part of the Kali Yuga mentality that I'm going to achieve this. No, no, no. Bhakti is not about achieving. It's about receiving. So please give me your mercy and I offer to you today, you know this word Anjali when you put in your two hands together? You put in your Anjali all the ways I've failed, all the ways I've fallen short, all my little mistakes and all the little inept ways I've tried to serve you today, and I offer them to you at your lotus feet. So, yeah, come to the point of a receiver's mentality. You know, I'm remembering something really sweet Mother Teresa said. Um, some of you may come from Catholic backgrounds. I think Eileen is from a Catholic background. She said something so sweet, you know, because people would come to Calcutta and praise her work and praise the work of the Sisters of Charity. And she said, you know, all that we're doing is just like little drops in an ocean. But then she said something really sacred. She said, but without those little drops, the ocean would be that much less. So in other words, my contribution is insignificant, but still it's a sacred contribution. So it's not diminishing myself, but understanding even though my contribution is so tiny and insignificant, it's still a sacred offering to Krishna. So I really love that. Hope that's helpful.
Thank you so much, Mother Rukmini. Really beautiful. Thank you.
Vibo.
Haribol Rukmini Devi, thank you so, so much. We've come to that time of our Sangha where we call in Namsa to close us out. And before that, I just thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We're so blessed because you're busy, very busy, and you took time out and, you know, you agreed to do this a month ago. And yes, so there's so many words I can say, however, from my heart to yours. I love you.
Love you too. Thank you. Nice to meet you, Namsa. And what an honor to be with all of you. Thank you for the invitation, Rajalila. Thank you for doing this every Friday. It's powerful when the women gather together in a mood of bhakti. So thank you.
Yes. Namsa will close us out real quickly. Namsa
Sure.
Devi.
If we could all go to our react buttons and share our hearts with Rukmini, because she shared her heart with us today. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it, and we really appreciate you kicking us off the Kartik month so beautifully. Yes, thank you. Vanchakalpa Tirupyascha Kripa Sindhuve Eva Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. We'll see everyone again next week for another Kartik special, and wishing you all a wonderful weekend and a blessed week ahead. Hare Krishna, everyone.
You can go to your react button and just press heart.
Please, the heart.
Is it always at the same time?
React
button? At the same time?
Yes.
Yes.
Always the same time?
Yes, it's always at the same time. It's always at 12:30.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna.